Hi. So I feel like my kitchen has become the go-to place for up-and-coming political books. So today I am joined by my fellow leftist, progressive, liberal. What are we now?
Well, progressive now is a bad word.
Yeah.
Liberal is too right-wing.
Yeah.
And then leftist means you're a communist.
Right.
So I know I'm against what is going on right now.
Yeah.
I guess social democrat is what I say.
Social democrat.
Yeah.
Okay. So my fellow social democrat, David Pakman. David is the host of the nationally syndicated independent progressive talk show, The David Pakman Show, with almost 4 million subscribers at this point, which is amazing. And that's YouTube alone. But he's also the author of the instant New York Times bestseller, The Echo Machine, How the Right-Wing Extremism Created a Post-Truth America, and the upcoming book, Pay Attention, How the Algorithms and Media Wars Are Suppressing the Truth and Rewiring Your Brain. Now, I knew that David was going to be in town with his adorable family and his little tiny baby daughter and his 4-year-old. So I said, why don't you come to the kitchen and tell people about your new book? I know it doesn't come out till mid-September, but my book came out in September. So I know you got to be in that pre-order phase, right?
Yes.
So let's do it. And David said, yes.
Of course.
So
glad to be here.
Yeah. Okay. So this new book is called Pay Attention. Do you think we're paying attention?
No, there's 2 ways in which we're not paying attention.
Well, tell them.
Number one, we go on social media. We think we're getting a view of what's really happening, but we're instead just getting what the algorithm thinks will keep you on your phone and me on my phone. And it's often not really what is going on. So like the Mitch McConnell story recently, we were all wrapped up in Kentucky's not being represented right now. Is he alive? Is he comatose? All this stuff. We were getting that in our algorithms, but then I would take calls on my show and there were Trump supporters who didn't even know that he was gone. How is that possible? Because the algorithms knew those people were not interested in that story.
Right.
And so we don't even have a shared basis for facts right now. And so unless you're paying attention to why you're seeing what you're seeing, you're really only getting half the story.
Yeah. And that makes it really hard for us to talk to people, to find a common truth, to even have a conversation.
Yes.
I think at this point, we all recognize that we are being played by these tech companies. Like that feels real to me. Like they are somehow rewiring our brains to clearly our own detriment. But I also feel like this book is a warning, right? It's a warning about the cultural and technological forces that are kind of getting in there and sort of melting our brains a bit.
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that it just kind of sucks for us is that the things that are true are not necessarily the ones that are going to generate the most interest on social media.
Right.
And so like one example would be if you just think about the COVID vaccine. 10 million people were killed by the vaccine. Completely untrue. It's short. It's shareable. It has a villain, whether it's Fauci or the pharmaceutical companies. It does really well. If we come in and we say, listen, it would be great if the vaccines were better at preventing COVID transmission.
They're not that good, but they're really good at keeping you out of the hospital. And they're also...
We've lost. That's not shareable. It's just talk. So I don't think we give up. You know, some people have been saying to me when I've been talking to them about this book, so we should just get off these platforms, right? We then cede control to the people with the worst ideas and the worst instincts. So I think we really have no choice but to learn to play the game.
Yeah. People say that to me all the time when I go on CNN. They're always like, why do you do this? You're just like feeding the beast. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to give the truth a fighting chance.
Right.
Because if there isn't a me there, then, you know, a Scott Jennings gets to say whatever the hell they want. And
I have to
there's
say,
no one there to go, that's not true, bro.
The Scott Jennings thing, I've watched that video with you and him, like the Zapruder film of the Kennedy assassination, frame by frame. There's a moment, which I think is the most interesting moment, which is he always wants to appear unruffled when anybody confronts him. And when you did the ha 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 ha,
why are you talking like that? It's insane.
There's a moment where he's suppressing a smile because he wants to act like you're not really bugging him with that, but he knows that your ha 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 was so perfect that even he almost starts laughing. And that's how I knew that you really got him in that one.
David, he has not gone on the show with me since.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, I swear to God. And I will tell you guys also that I just heard that he's the front runner for the potential Carolyn Levitt job. Just
wow.
FYI.
I'm just learning that here.
But listen, we're here to talk about David's book because he's in town. He's visiting from Boston. So these days it feels like I feel like the truth is harder and harder to find, right? Like if the powers that be and the Carolyn Levitts of the world and the president and the head of the Justice Department and HHS and, you know, the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense are all just allowed to lie to us, which they are doing perpetually. And then the media and their colleagues don't call them on it, right? How do people even find the truth these days?
So a couple different things. One, it's really good instead of having stuff fed to you.
Okay.
Decide what media sources you trust, subscribe to them so you get their stuff in your email inbox. Because if what you're getting fed is based on scrolling and how much time you spend and whether you liked something, you're going to get an algorithmically delivered feed. Instead, if you say, here's 4 publications, I like their work, I like these reporters, send me this stuff, you're choosing to get that. That's number 1. Number 2, a lot of people don't know that the reason you're getting certain content on these platforms is because the platforms have identified that you engage with it, but you might not like that. So for example, I had a friend who was getting tons of stuff on his Instagram about serious disease. He didn't want to be seeing stuff about serious disease, but it must have been doing something where the algorithm said, I'm going to give you more. You can go into Instagram and it'll list, here's the stuff we think you're interested in. You can remove anything you don't like. He removed it. He doesn't get that stuff anymore. People should do that and take control of what they're being fed.
Right. So be more picky the way we would be if we were trying to lose weight
100%.
Or we were trying to be healthier about what we put into our bodies. But in this case, it's what we put into our minds, right?
100%.
Okay. So I hate it when people question if there is even truth anymore. People say that to me all the time. Like, is there even truth? Like, of course there's truth. Of course truth exists, right? Like the climate is warming, whether you believe in climate change or not. And we will all suffer from this lack of belief and therefore action because we question what's real and what's not real, right?
Yes.
So in your opinion, does truth still exist?
Absolutely. Truth still exists. The problem is there are issues of fact and there are issues of opinion. And so one of the things that I write about is if we can't even agree as to what facts are, I don't mean what the facts are, but what counts as a statement of fact. Chocolate ice cream is the best ice cream. Whether you agree or disagree, we should be able to say that is a matter of opinion, not a matter of fact.
Right.
When people say it's a matter of opinion whether the climate is warming, we have a real problem.
Right.
What we should be able to say is, as you said, the climate is warming. Why it's warming, we need to agree upon. And what to do about it, we need to figure out. But unless we start with it is happening, we're going to get nowhere.
Right. And that's why we do get nowhere.
Yes.
I mean, honestly.
Yes.
You seem really clear that this threat of totalitarianism is very real in this country right now. Now you're from Argentina, so you like recognize things that we might not recognize, but that these dystopian features that included, you know, we see them in works of fiction, right? Like 1984 or Brave New World. And I'll add to that like Fahrenheit 451 and As a Woman, you know, The Handmaid's Tale. They're kind of on our doorstep right now, if not already here. So tell me what you think it's important that we understand about that.
So often people talk about 1984. This is Orwellian. This is like 1984. Right. I don't really think that's the scenario we're in right now. 1984 is where messages are tightly controlled and the government is deciding here are the messages that are allowed to go to people. The situation right now is more like Brave New World. And I write about this in the book. And with Brave New World, it's such a fire hose where everything is allowed. You go on Rumble, there's 10,000 different people saying whatever they want. There's so much misinformation and it's so engaging to a degree that people the government doesn't need to control what the messages are because people are so overloaded and flooded with crap that they really can't tell the difference. And often they give up or they just accept what the algorithms are giving them.
Right.
It's kind of harder to actually break out of the Brave New World scenario because with 1984, very few sources of information. You know they're trying to manipulate you. Cool. Right. You can put up a defense against that.
This is the concept of like war is peace.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of stuff.
With the Brave New World thing of this fire hose of you're not even going to be able to discern what's real. You have to be a lot more aware of what's going on, a lot more proactive, a lot pickier.
Yeah, and that's hard.
It's harder.
And it asks more of people.
100%.
And they're exhausted already.
They are. And people are working. Cost of living is up. Housing isn't cheaper. Gas isn't cheap. You know, so people are busy. And it is a lot to ask of people to say, here's 500 media outlets. You now have to discern which are the right ones to get the information you need. It's very tough.
Yeah. That's why I like often do work for Ground News because I think that they're doing a lot of sourcing and telling you where the sources come from and that kind of thing. 100%. And people need help, right? And I think that's why people listen to me half the time because it's like, what are the stories I'm supposed to be paying attention to? It's too much.
Yes,
right?
100%.
Same thing for your show. I'm sure people go, okay, I can go to David and he can tell me what it is I should be paying attention to.
And I try to also tell people the why.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that's happening is I meet people and they go, I don't really care about politics. And I go, well, what do you, tell me what you mean by that?
Yeah.
And they'll say, you know, what I care about is like, is my neighborhood safe? And I go, that's is politics. That is. And so making that connection, I understand, especially with younger people and recent college graduates, they're struggling to find a job. The job they find doesn't pay well. Housing is so expensive. How can I ever get ahead? I would understand going, I just don't have time for politics. But it actually is so important because who we elect affects all of that stuff.
Every single thing. I say that all the time. Like, you like your garbage being picked up? You like your kids being able to go to school? You know, like, does your street get plowed when it snows?
Yeah.
That's all government.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think we're seeing a little bit of that right now with Mom Donnie.
Yes.
You know, where people are like, this pothole's broken, and he's like, let's fill it. And they're like, oh my God, can government actually do this? Like, can they do their job? I mean, one of the things you point out in this book is that these new technological advancements that we've become so reliant on have made us, as you say, not just passive, but willing participants in this world where our humanity is kind of being swallowed up. Can you expand on that a little bit for us?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if people have been working all day, taking care of kids, commuting, figuring out how to pay for this, how to pay for that, it is a very easy and simple thing to pull out an algorithmically derived social media app and to just kind of accept what's given to you and not really think too much about what you're getting because it's easy. The platforms are designed to be providing content that matches your emotional state.
Yeah.
And so at night, that might be different than in the morning, or when you're at work and commuting, it might be different. Fine. It does require a little more to say, in the 20 minutes I now have, I'm going to read this book about the history of totalitarianism to better. That is, I understand people will go,
it's a heavy,
I've had a full day.
Lift.
That's a heavy lift. And so the ease with which we can just consume this stuff makes it more attractive to choose that over other things.
Yeah. And I can see that. I mean, I do that myself. Sometimes when I've actually learned something, because I think you can learn a lot from social media.
Yeah.
When I've actually learned something, I often try and turn my phone off to absorb the thing that I've learned or write it down or try and make an extension of it, like go somewhere else and write that down. Because often I save things and then I'm like, I have to go back to them. So what am I actually learning? Other than I know how to waste 2 hours of my time in bed, right? You also say in the book that the right is built for the attention economy. Is the left any different?
The left is not really built for the attention economy, but that we can still figure it out.
What does
I'll
that
explain
mean?
what I mean. What works really well in the attention economy are short, pithy messages that induce fear or anger. And if they have a villain or a scapegoat, even better.
Yeah.
So when you think, for example, about the issue of taxation, the right goes, taxes, that's your money. You earned it. You should get to keep all of it. They're stealing money when they tax you. That is emotionally salient. It creates a villain, which is the government that's taxing you, and liberals who want to tax you. Okay. We don't come in and go, you should pay 100% tax. That would be the equivalent on the other side. But we say it would be really great to keep as much of our money as possible.
We live in societies. We need roads. We need fire.
We've lost people already.
Done.
One message is much better for these platforms. Abortion is another one. Don't kill babies. That's it. It should be illegal. Completely out of context, doesn't address the real tensions within this bodily autonomy and all these things. We come in, we don't go, let's get the number of abortions up. We say, hey, it would be great
to have more access to contraception and family planning. This would prevent the need for abortions, but the truth is...
We're explaining again.
Yeah,
and so a lot of these messages are just built in a lot of way for the attention economy, and it benefits the right.
Yeah. And we need to get better at it. I mean, I used to say with taxes alone, I was like, think of it like a Happy Meal. You know, when they're like, you're already getting the burger and the fries. If you just pay this many cents more, you can get the drink. And you're like, okay, well, it comes down to how much can I get for the money I'm spending?
Yes.
And I think we need to look at taxes like that. Like if I'm going to get healthcare and better education and free college, I would pay a little bit more because I'm already paying through the nose for those things through private industry.
And that's what's missing a lot of times when people say, oh, David, you know, you like the systems in places like Denmark and Sweden, but you know that they have really high tax rates. Number one, a lot of those people have never looked at what the tax rates are in those countries.
I know.
They're not actually that high when you consider federal, state. But more importantly, it's what do you get?
What do you get?
If you get healthcare, if your kids can go to college, at least some colleges, and you know you're not going to come out of pocket for that, that's a better deal. It's sort of like a car is $15,000. Is that expensive or cheap? Well, it depends what the car is and what the features are and what you get.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So we have this new technological world where humans are basically, as you're saying, the product, right? The user has become the product. But it feels like in this near future, they won't even need us to create the product because AI is going to do that. So what does the future look like to you?
Well, it depends on us what the future looks like.
All right. Now, are you hearing this? It depends on us.
What I will tell you is we've done some tests where we feed like 10 hours of my podcast into one of these AI tools. And then it's able to clone my voice. It's able to clone my voice. And it clones it so well that I show it or I play it for my team who listens to my voice in their headphones all day, every day. They can't tell the difference. Oof. It's good enough already. Video, not so much. Like we tested some video ones and like weird things happen with your hands and your mouth. But in 6 months and 12 months and 18 months, this stuff's going to be really good.
Yeah.
What I know from what I hear from my audience is in a world right now where people are increasingly distant, less social in some cases. It's more expensive to go out. People want real connections with actual people.
Yeah.
My audience has been clear. If I find out I'm following someone who's delivering me videos that are AI generated or synthetic, or if I find out that I'm following a totally synthetic influencer that doesn't even exist, I'm out.
Yeah.
So it's clear that the audience doesn't want it. The question is there going to be technology good enough that you can tell the difference? And if there is such technology, will it be regulated in a way that it has to be disclosed? And we don't have the answer to that yet.
No, and that's why we need to be focusing really hard on AI regulation,
Yes.
I think. I even get mad when I see like a cute gorilla like feeding 2 other baby gorillas, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, is this AI?
You look in the comments and everybody says
it's so
this
frustrating.
is AI. It is, yeah.
Ultimately, I think the book is showing us how the machine works, right? Like how this machine that we have all bought into now, that's in our hand most of the times, how it works. And I feel like you're trying to explain what we have to do or why we have to do it to not willingly become a part of the machine, to not just become a cog,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that's kind of the gist of the book, because I feel like we need hope. We need at least hopeful kernels that will make us feel that we can do something, that we're not just going to be consumed by what's coming at us.
Yes. The book really is for if you use digital platforms or know someone who does.
What?
So that's really everybody. First of all, is you have to understand how they work. When people see stuff and they go, wow, the algorithm is so good at figuring out what I want to watch.
I know. I buy a lot of things because the algorithm
You
is
have
so
to understand
good.
why. And once you understand the why, you're better able to take control of it.
Right.
And then the third part is understanding the political influence and why this has been so good for the right and sort of a mixed bag for the left.
Yeah.
And that's really important to understand. And then finally, how AI will affect and change this and how to be prepared for that.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So I know that Pay Attention is already #1 new release in media and internet in politics. Well done. You.
Great. It's a very specific but important category.
But very exciting.
Yes.
So how do people get their hands on it?
DavidPakman.com, pay attention. There's a very limited amount of time left where you can still get a signed copy.
Cool.
It's not a sticker you put in the book. I will sign the book and then it gets shipped to you.
Okay.
There's the Audible version, the Kindle version, whatever.
Do you do the Audible?
I do the Audible.
Okay.
An excruciating process.
I know.
Yes, you've done it.
I've done it.
But I'm glad that I did it. It would be strange if people listened to my audiobook and it was someone else.
Oh, I can't even imagine that.
So, DavidPakman.com/attention. And it is an environment right now. The Trump administration tried to suppress my first book. They had a list of about 12 or 15 books. They sent it to Amazon. They said, we would like you not to sell these books. Now, fortunately, Amazon said, we're selling these books.
Jeff might not say that now.
It's a different environment and we don't know what's going to happen. So the more people that pre-order the book, the more protected the book is from being deshelved.
Okay. So if this is a book, Pay Attention is a book that they want us not to pay attention to, we've got to actually do that. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing all this work. Thank you so much for still caring about this world.
My pleasure.
We're both fellow immigrants that love this country. So thank you guys so much. And go pick up David's book, Pay Attention.
Thank you.
It's like, thank you. Very serious. Thank you.